Hey crafters, today's video is all about using scraps and no waste. This is Creative Moments by G. I'm G and so happy that you're with us today. So let's head down to the crafting table and let me show you what I mean. Here is a card that we used our scrap for this cutout. Now this is a diagonal card, but we added just a rectangular, just a strip of DSP or patterned paper right behind this because we had that scrap and we want to use it, right? But on this particular card, I'm also going to show you how to have no waste. So our first card that we're going to make, we took this card, we took the inside that we cut out of this diagonal card, and we are now going to use this on a new card. See? No waste. Now make sure you stay with us to the end because I'm going to give you a screenshot of the measurements on how to cut this card. So we went ahead and we just have a typical portrait base card. This is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we actually went through our patterned paper and we found a piece of scrap that we love. We're going to turn it this way. And this is simply going down on our base card. Now, I did have to cut a little bit off of it. We had some scraggly corners and so forth. Is that even a word? So let's go ahead and lay this down on our base card. Now, because I want to have a sentiment right here, I need to stamp this first because I'm going to raise it up on dimensionals and you can't stamp over dimensionals. It won't work. I want to make sure that I get this dark enough, so I'm bringing in my Sweet Petunia Misty, love this, stamping tool. And I'm going to put this right here on the edge and line it up right there. Now, this is wonderful because it's a sticky mat. I'm going to put my magnet right there, and I already have my stamp lined up exactly where I want it. I'm going to bring in my Night of Navy, and we're going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment. Now, I'm taking my ink to my stamp. And I'm just going to press very lightly, just let that ink transfer. I'm going to do it one more time. And look at how pretty that looks. Now I'm going to remove my magnet, peel off my image. And add some dimensionals. Now, I'm going to use my strip dimensionals because it's very quick and I can just put a strip right here on the top and on the bottom. Now we're just going to center this on our card. And look at that, no waste. We use this from the other card that we cut. I'm going to show you again later. Look at that. And now we want to decorate it just a little bit. We want to keep it simple. So we went ahead and we found some other scraps and we cut this flower out of this patterned paper. And then we just punched out some of these beautiful leaves. And these come from Gorgeously Made. So we're just going to add this, making sure that we stay on the inside of the card. We're going to raise it up and we'll just add some leaves. I want this placed exactly like this on my rose. And because I want that, I'm going to grab a piece of tape. This is a great tip. You can just turn this over add a piece of tape, and now you have it in exactly the right place. You don't have to add any glue. So let's just add our dimensional now. Now this goes over just a little bit, so we're going to bring in our scissors and we're just going to snip it to match the first mat. Now look at that. So pretty. We are going to bring in a white piece of paper for the inside of our card, and let me show you how we're going to add our scraps to this piece of paper. This is just a first mat. This is a great design to use that pattern paper that you have, the scraps. We have these scraps and we're just adding them to the top of the inside of our card. Look how pretty that's going to look. Now we're going to add a smaller strip that we found to the bottom. And there we have our first card finished. So easy to create. Let's move on to our second card using the no waste and scraps. So we'll put that there. The next card that we're going to cut, we're going to just cut a diagonal here, but we're going to use this border. This border comes from Gorgeously Made, and it looks like torn paper. So let's go ahead and just get this cut. Now remember, I'm going to show you a template that you can screenshot at the end of this video to get these markings just perfect. So we have our two pieces cut. Now just imagine if this was a colored piece of cardstock, you could actually take the center, emboss it, and use it on another card, doing what? Having no waste. But we went ahead and found a scrap piece of paper, and instead of just a small piece, we found this one that really we could cut into a first mat. So we went ahead and picked a portrait base card, just your 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. We're going to lay this down on that card. And before we glue this down, we want to go ahead and stamp our sentiment. And we want to use our Misty again because we need it nice and dark. So we're going to peel off this cover. Now let me give you another tip. If you have a Misty, you can very easily lose this piece of see-through film, right? So what we did is we just added our sunflower sticker, and now we always know where it is. We were always losing it, and now we just put a sticker and you'll never lose it. So let's go ahead and push this right up into the corner. Let's get this lined up right into the corner. We're going to add our sentiment right here. Shut it. Okay. Let's get our magnet. Make sure it's pushed up into the corner. We are going to ink up our stamp. Oh, look at how pretty that looks. One more time. Perfect. Going to peel off this, bring back in our film. And now we are ready to add our dimensional strips. Now we are going to have a small little flower right here. So we're going to add that in just a moment. So let's just line this up with our paper. Now on this one, it's going to go down here, but we want to add some flowers first. And so we need to cut them off. So we need to go ahead and get them lined up about right here. And then that way we can cut off the excess. So let's go ahead and just add some glue. Flip it over and we'll just cut that excess off. And now we can add this to the front of our card. Now I'm going to bring in a piece of paper because I want to stamp some flowers right here. So I'm just bringing in these beautiful flowers from Simply Zinnia's, this stamp set right here. And I'm going to bring in Petal Pink and Highland Heather just to do a little shading right here. And here is our second card, a diagonal card using scraps and creating no waste. Because remember, you still have this piece. You could run this through an embossing folder and then add it just like we did on this one to another card, and it would be beautiful. Now, what we used for this border right here, a die set that's called Basic Borders. And what's so great about this die set, we love this die set, you can actually use this die right here to create a stencil so that you could go in and add some clouds to a card. Just a quick tip. So here are the two cards that created the no waste. We cut out the center and then we used the center for another card. What do you think of those cards? Take a moment and let me know, which is your favorite? Okay, then we have this beautiful card. Then we have this beautiful card. Look at that border. This is around the bend. This cuts in and the border part cuts off. We added some beautiful flowers and we did the same thing down here, creating this border. Look how beautiful that is. We found us a piece of scrap paper just to add our DSP and added design right behind this that you can actually see through the dots that are cut out. And then we stamp the inside. Now on this one, of course, we have this cut out right here. And this is the one that we created. So quick, so easy. We cut out our flowers. We didn't even have to color these. And you could have done the same thing on the inside. You could have just cut out some flowers and just added them to the inside. So looking at these diagonal cards, we used scrap paper and no waste by using the inside. What do you think? But remember, I said I was going to give you a screenshot so that you would know the exact dimensions to cut. And here we go, as promised. Here are the dimensions for this diagonal card. used our scraps, and no waste. So go ahead, take a screenshot. Well, we hope you enjoyed these cards today. They're called a diagonal card, but we like to think of them as cards that you can use scraps and no waste. Well, we certainly appreciate your time today. Monty and I want you to go out and have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.